Once you have performed a few of these annotations and you have been able to verify the majority of your places, classify personal names, by tag, and use a little bit of a more sophisticated annotation strategy, you're going to be able to see something like this, where there is a bunch of different annotations, different entities recognized, and so on. And at this point, you can decide to visualize your annotations on the text in different ways. So, for example, Recogito is going to add a different color to your entities depending on the entity type. So here, for example, you can see that places are colored in green, events are colored in this kind of purple, and people are colored in this blue. But you can also decide to color them differently depending on the verification status. And so, for example, places that have been verified against available matches in the gazetteers are colored in this sort of bright green. Flagged places are going to be identified in yellow, and non-verified entities are going to be colored in this kind of gray. You can also use the first tag if you have proceeded by annotation of tags as well, and by classifying entities by tag. You can also see immediately types of entities that have different tags that are identified by a different color. So for example, here I had this particular tag for the sequence of places, a different one for this sequence, and a different one for this sequence. And I can visualize them according to different colors as well. I'm going to show you another couple of things that are very useful to see actually what you have done in a different way. As you can see here, there are a variety of buttons that offer you different kinds of information about the document that you have been annotating. Definitely the most exciting is the map view. Let's click on that and let's see what happens. So basically what the map view does is to give you an overview of the locations of all the places that you have identified in your document. And of course, this type of information is taken directly from that matching and verification operation that I showed you before. These are locations identified according to the gazetteer references that you have verified your place names with. And so you can do a variety of things with this. You can definitely explore the map right here. You can focus on it, and you can decide which map layer you want to be using, depending, once again, on the particular context of your map. You can also click on the single bubbles that represent place names, and what is going to do is to show you the particular gazetteer entry of that place, and even the context where that place name has been annotated in your text. You can also scroll through the different occurrences of that place in your document, depending on how many annotations have you completed of that particular place. You can also jump directly to that context by clicking on Jump to Text, right, like this. Let's go back to the map view. You can also do a variety of things in order to improve the particular visualization of the place entities that you can see right here. If you have a look at this button here on the lower left angle, you can see that it says change colors and filter settings. Let's click on that one. You can decide to color your entities on the map in a different way depending on the kind of information that you want to emphasize. So for example, you can decide to color your places in different ways depending on the tag. You can see that I've used a variety of tags here, and so my places are going to be in a different color depending on the classification that they belong to. You can also color them by part, and this is going to be particularly useful if your document is made up of several files. You can color them by status, distinguishing those that are verified or not. And of course by contributor, if you have several users contributing to the annotation of your document. Another particularly interesting way of seeing your document and your annotations is the annotation statistics right here. The annotation statistics gives you some information about the activity, the number of annotations, and the types of annotations that have been performed on your document. And so, for example, here you can see that there's a summary that details how many annotations have been made in this document, how many comments, how many relations have been annotated, how many contributors and who they are, how many edits they made, and so on and so forth. You can also have a more focused view on the entities that have been annotated, how many have been verified, how many have been flagged, which ones have been flagged, and what kinds of verification options you have. So, for example, if you're interested to see the particular gazetteer's ID, they are here, and which toponym they correspond to in the document, how many times they occur. All of this is evidently available in this view. And then some statistics as well right here. If you're interested in having some information about the tags used in the document, you can still click on tags and see basically a statistic about which tags have been most used and which tags have been the least used. And you can also download this information as a tabular format. Finally, there are some download options that you can use if you want to further manipulate or visualize your data in a separate program. So, for example, you can export your annotations as a table or a spreadsheet so that you can do some more visualizations on a GIS software, for example. You can export the document metadata as RDF. If you're particularly interested in places, you also have the option of downloading a GeoJSON file. If you're particularly interested in visualizing the relationship annotations, you can download a Gephi-compatible list of nodes and edges, or just a basic table that exports all of the relationships that you have annotated in the document. You can even download the entire annotated document, including the text, in a TI XML format. And finally, of course, there are the document settings, where you can modify the document and file metadata, and where you can set several types of advanced preferences, including sharing, which I'm going to show you in a separate video.